Somebody linked me this from Senator Josh Hawley. What are we doing today? This is a real video. What's up?
Senator, you gave a pretty hot speech at the National Conservatism Conference in Orlando. You talked about the left's attack on men of America.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, that's right. He went up there on stage and he talked about how video games and pornography, right?
Masculinity as your new big issue.
Well, I think what the left is doing is attacking America. They're saying that America is systemically oppressive and men are systemically responsible.
What's a man to you?
I think in this state, no. I mean, men systemically, I guess. I don't know if that's like the big talking point, though. Like, in some ways. Oh, also, for no reason at all, here's a photo of Josh Hawley kissing. I just thought it was funny. They're like doing a little peck. Anyway, let's hear this guy's opinions on masculinity, I guess.
You paint a picture.
What's a man? Well, a man is a father, a man is a husband, a man is somebody who takes responsibility.
Wait! I thought a man was XY chromosomes. Wait. Wait, hold on. You see this dissonance all the time with conservatives, where when they're talking about trans issues, they're like, yeah, being a man and being a woman are hardline biological things. There's no way of changing that. And then they'll turn around and go like, actually, being a man is a metaphysical thing. It's really all about the role of the family, and it's about your spirit, and how well you... It's like, they don't believe any of this shit.
As conservatives, we've got to call men back to responsibility. We've got to say that spending your time not working, and we have more and more men who are not working, spending your time on video games, spending your time watching porn online while doing nothing is not good for you.
What he's saying, by the way, is that more women need to take up the mantle with the pornography and video games. Okay? That's what... Women, it's your time to rise. Okay? Men, get back to work. Women, 8 hours of Pornhub and video games a day. Okay? Let's go. Let's go. Let's address the gap. Okay?
Family or this country.
So a viewer's watching this and they're thinking, really? What the liberals are doing are going to push me to watch Pornhub more or play Donkey Kong more? Do you mean that literally?
Wait.
Or play Donkey Kong? Donkey Kong? Donkey Kong? Donkey Kong? Donkey Kong?
Damn. I didn't know that he had been... I didn't know Video Game Donkey had been inducted into the Kong family. I'm very proud. He could be here in this moment, this announcement.
More? Do you mean that literally?
Well, what I mean literally is that I think the liberal attack, the left-wing attack on manhood says to men, you're part of the problem. It says that your masculinity is inherently problematic. It's inherently oppressive.
What's your basis for linking that to...
Damn, dude didn't even get to finish. So obviously the conservative argument here always relies on an inability to distinguish between the characteristics that people on the left criticize and don't criticize. Nobody on the left is arguing that all the elements associated with masculinity are negative. Nobody on the left argues that. There are plenty of things like strength, confidence, charisma that are associated with masculinity that the left considers generally to be valuable characteristics, only that they should be considered ubiquitously valuable, and that there are some characteristics that are also negative, that are associated with manhood, like being super angry or super prideful. It's actually funny because conservative Christians should agree with this. Do conservative Christians not preach against sin? Pride and wrath are sins that are generally, and lust, generally associated with men, aren't they? Historically, contemporarily, culturally, those are sins generally considered to be more masculine. At least they tend to be pinned on men more often. So I guess what I'm wondering is, how can you take issue with people on the left making the argument that there are elements of masculinity that are damaging when conservative Christians who are arguing against this point will constantly say that men's lustful nature, like, say, for example, them over consuming pornography, is a bad thing. Hawley is literally arguing against an element of masculinity here. Playing a bunch of video games and watching a bunch of pornography are masculine coded things. Like, in this own interview, he is doing the thing he's accusing lefties of doing. But it's all a rhetorical game, right? As long as he never says it's like an element of masculinity he's trying to change. Well, I guess honestly, he's doing that too. I don't know, just whatever. These are always so self-defeating.
What liberals or the left, as you would say, do? Is that based on data or based on a hunch?
Well, it's policy over many years. I mean, if you look at the policy
Foreign
of
policy?
deindustrialization, those are policy choices Mike pursued over many years. I've looked at,
Wait, how does that connect to porn?
oh, well, you've got men, 16 million men, Mike, who are idle, who don't have anything to do. Now, partly that's their own responsibility, but
What is that? What does that have to do with the industrialization? What? What?
also partly it's because jobs have dried up in many cities across America and rural areas too. I think you put together lack of jobs, you put together fatherlessness, you put together the social messages that we teach our kids in school. I think we've got to confront that and its effects.
But wait, what does that have to do with? What does that have to do with the industrialization? What is he talking about? What is the unemployment rate right now? The unemployment rate went up because of Trump's handling of COVID. The unemployment rate in the United States is what, like around 5% right now? Considering the recovery from COVID, that seems kind of expect. Like, what are we talking about? He said deindustrialization? As in, like, us moving the factory jobs out of... Okay, so I'm going to pose an alternative explanation, okay? It's actually impossible to extrapolate any relationship between the kind of economy we have now and pornography and video games, because back when the Rust Belt was the industrial center of America, we didn't have the internet and we didn't have video games. You see, there's a bit of a lingering problem with this comparison, and it's that those things didn't really exist back then. Pornography back then was buying, like, for a nickel, like buying a little magazine from a porn shop, and the magazine had like a hairy bush somewhere in it, okay? It was dirty magazines. It was nudies, okay? It was like a Hustlers or Playboy or something, okay? Now, modern pornography is a whole other beast, okay? A whole new world, okay? It's a whole blooming industry. Video games didn't exist back then. I don't know if you can make any fair comparisons, okay? We had porn theaters, cinema porn peaked in the 70s, and I never got that. Is it true, by the way? You can't jerk off in those theaters, can you? That's indecent exposure. Didn't Pee Wee Herman get in trouble for jerking off in those theaters? Yeah. Why would you ever go and watch a porn movie? What the fuck is the point? At least with, like, strip clubs, there's the appeal of it being like a real person next to you. And even that I don't really get, but why would you just sit there? Yeah, you just sit there quietly with an erection for 90 minutes, surrounded by other guys quietly sitting there with erections. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I don't get it. I don't get it. Are you saying you don't watch porn for the plot? I am. Look, okay, I'll say this much, okay? Porn should have a plot. Context makes sex much hotter, okay? Unironically, how have we let our standards stoop so low? I'm not saying that every single porn video has to have, like, perfect acting and a 20-minute lead up or whatever. I'm just saying even, like, a baseline bit of effort, 2 or 3 minutes of moderately well-acted setup for any premise will infinitely improve. Like, get me in the goddamn scenario, okay? If it's like work, you're in the workplace, and by workplace, of course, what you mean is there's one office room with a desk, and they rented that out for the scene, you know? Don't and a guy is sitting there, you know, in the chair, and the busty secretary comes in, big badonkin titties, okay? Why not? Why not? Okay, hold on. Now this is just my opinion, okay? Why not treat me like a human with an IQ above 50, okay? Add some audio of there being office noises that increase in volume when the door opens and closes. You know, make me believe that we're in an office building. Maybe she's not wearing a t-shirt that has 16 buttons undone. Maybe she's wearing normal, and have a little bit of a conversation. Can we just have a goddamn conversation? What is the point of a premise if you're not going to commit to it? Because so often it's like, hi, I'm the new secretary. Oops, and she slips, and her tits slam into and the concussive force of it breaks the desk, revealing the erection he already had. Like, give me a minute, okay? Present to me. You can write, okay? Come on. Come on. Yeah, I don't even believe you two are step siblings. Come on. Start your own story-based porn company. I've talked about this before, okay? But I think that you can do so much more with a bit of context, all right? Weren't we talking about Josh Hawley? Leave this in the segment, okay? You can do so much more with a little bit of context, okay? It doesn't need to be like some tremendously well acted or none of this shit, okay? We're just talking about the surrounding. Okay, okay. We can marry the best of both worlds, okay? We're talking about traditionally masculine and traditionally feminine pornography. Traditionally feminine pornography is like the books that they read, you know, the smutty books that all have like the girl in like the wet t-shirt hugging the werewolf on the cover, and there's like a blood moon behind them or something. Like that's all the, 50 Shades of Grey tier shit or whatever. He's wearing like 16 belts and you know. Okay, so that's the thing. And you read it and it's like 50 pages of he stared at me staringly, lustily looking at me with his lustful eyes, water beating in his eyes as he lustfully undressed me with his lustful. And it goes like that for 50 pages. And then eventually they say make love, and fuck that, okay? Who said making love? Jesus Christ. What a boner killer. But, okay, you have that, and then you have the traditionally masculine pornography, which is the Brazzers, Bang Bros, like a guy, like an Eastern European dude is driving a bus, and the bus is empty, and he stops, and a girl with like Triple H tits walks on, and she's like, I don't have enough for the fare, and the guy pulls out like a 12-inch cock and just fucking fucks her right there, and there's like 30 seconds of lead-in. But you can unite the genius of these two mediums, these two formats, okay? And all you need is a little bit of context thrown in there from the beginning. Would you say real porn should take tips from hentai? Nothing should take any tips from hentai ever. Literally zero things. Hentai should not take tips from hentai, okay? The less we as a culture absorb from hentai, the stronger and smarter we all become. So you're saying you want the best of both worlds? I'm just saying that it's a shame that proper literary development is so often mutually exclusive to giant dick titty gaudy fuck porn. I'm just saying that you could work with both. If you go on Archive of Our Own or whatever these degenerate fucking fanfic sites are, okay, they're all written 2,000 chapters, and there's so much lead in and there's so much context, but it's all written. Bring it to the visual medium. Bring it to the visual medium, okay? I'm calling upon you. Now, Xander Corvus was in chat earlier. Okay? I want to be engaged, okay? Here's the standard, okay? Porn, like anything produced, any media, can be an art form. I want to remember the characters' names. I want to remember the arc they went through, okay? Why not? I can for any other medium. A book, a movie, a video game. I can remember shit that went on in there and think that was a good story. Move mountains. Make that the future we live in, okay? I want to be 80 years old on my deathbed and think, I remember that scene where Ramirez cleaned that woman's pool. God, her tits were big. They came so far, literally and figuratively. Okay, stop. We have to stop here. Stop. Do people actually watch porn without skipping around? I think everyone skips around, but that's because there's nothing there, right? Like porn is super, like there are porn videos where it's like 20 minutes of like the same pose and people are thrusting. I guess I just don't understand why you would watch 20 minutes of that. You wouldn't watch any other kind of media that had 20 minutes of near identical, repetitive. You know what I mean? Like, of course you wouldn't. That'd be ridiculous. Like, imagine a movie where there's a sword fight, and the sword fight consists of the same 3 riposts, and that scene continues for 20 minutes in the exact same room, with the same motion, with no changes to the dialogue or audio mixing. It just keeps happening over and over. I'd watch this, TBH. I know you would. You guys would watch the meme of the like cover-based shooter where like one person pops out and fires at the other person's chest-high wall, and then they go back down. The other person pops out and fires at the other person's chest-high wall, and they go back and forth for 20 minutes. Yeah, the Naked Gun setup. How fitting. All right.